For entrepreneurship section of Informed Eyes Weekly Business Insights for the week 4 to August 1 to 7, 2025, we curated and summarized articles from two business magazines. The first article from Inc. magazine shares three tiny behaviors that make you the calmest person in the room. The second article from Entrepreneur magazine describes why grace is a leadership strategy and how CEOs can use it effectively. First from Inc. magazine.
Three tiny behaviors that make you the calmest person in the room. Written by Fast Company, published by INC magazine on August 4th, 2025. In high-stakes meetings or chaotic team moments, the person who stays grounded often becomes the one others follow. And this outcome isn't about status or rank, it's biological. Human groups are wired to seek cues of stability. In uncertain situations, people scan for behavioral signals of calm, control, and composure. Those who project these signals can influence group dynamics in powerful ways, whether or not they hold formal authority. Here are three tiny behaviors that can make you the calmest person in the room. 1. Slow your exhale. One of the fastest ways to regulate your nervous system is through your breath. Specifically, focus on extending the exhale. A longer out-breath activates the parasympathetic nervous system, signaling to your body and brain that you are safe and in control. In stressful moments, most people unconsciously shorten their breath, which heightens physiological arousal. By contrast, slowing your exhale lowers heart rate variability and helps maintain executive function under pressure. Neuroscience research supports this. Controlled breathing patterns are shown to downregulate the amygdala, the brain's threat detection center, and improve prefrontal cortex performance. In leadership terms, this allows you to think clearly and signal calm even when tension is high. 2. Master the neutral face. Facial expressions are among the most contagious signals in any room. Subtle cues of tension, tightened jaw, furrowed brow, compressed lips, trigger mirror neuron responses in others, escalating stress contagion. One of the simplest yet most powerful techniques is to practice what I call a neutral face. Relax your facial muscles, release tension from jaw and brow, and let your gaze soften. This sends non-threatening signals that calm others' nervous systems. 3. Use stillness strategically. Movement is another powerful signal. Rapid, jittery gestures broadcast anxiety. Deliberate stillness, on the other hand, projects control. In tense meetings, practice purposeful stillness. Rest your hands lightly on the table. Slow your gestures and allow silences to stand without rushing to fill them. This creates a grounding presence that helps regulate group energy. Behavioral research confirms that leaders who demonstrate controlled stillness are perceived as more composed, credible, and trustworthy. The effect is amplified when combined with calm vocal tone and centered body posture. Two key takeaways from the article. 1. In high-stakes meetings or chaotic team moments, the person who stays grounded often becomes the one others follow. Influence is not about charisma alone, it is about biological signaling. When your own system is grounded, you help others self-regulate. That is what builds trust and followership in high-stakes moments. 2. If you want to become the calmest person in the room, start with these three behaviors. Slow your exhale, relax your face, use stillness strategically. These tiny actions, grounded in the biology of behavior, can shift not only how you feel, but how others respond to you. And in leadership, that is the signal that often matters most.
Grace is a leadership strategy. Here is how CEOs can use it effectively. Written by Dustin Lamech, edited by Mika Zimmerman, published by Entrepreneur magazine on August 4, 2025. If you haven't watched the latest season of The Bear yet, the author highly recommends it to any small business owner. Without giving anything away, the plot is an eye-opening expose of what it takes to keep a business afloat and the lengths CEOs must sometimes go to ensure survival. The author believed that restaurants are some of the ultimate entrepreneurs. They take chances every day in one of the most challenging business model with a high failure rate. As such, there is a lot to learn from leaders like Chef Carmi. Starting with, you have to be curious, you have to be conscious of doing out grace and empathy, and before you do with your team, it needs to start with doing the same for yourself. True victory is knowing everything can't be a win. Mistakes happen in life and business. Choices and big decisions are necessary, and you are not always going to get it right. But it's not about avoiding the difficult moment, it's about how you handle them in the moment head on that will be the biggest differentiator in your success. This is paramount in a startup entering its growth phase where things are moving very fast and there isn't always time to pump the brakes. When everyone's pushing really hard and you are all accelerating at the same time, you are going to hit road bumps inevitably. But you have a mindset of these things happen and give grace to yourself and your team, it will better prepare you for your next strategic move. On the other hand, being reactive and punitive will only break the ecosystem further as teams face impossible standards to solve the situation. The companies that fail are the ones that refuse to recognize or acknowledge a plan B. It starts with positive self talk and positive behaviors. If you want everyone on the same page with the same mentality of railing around a mission, it must start with the one at the top. Positive self talk is a great first step, and it can be nurtured by having a good sounding board that you go for counsel and support. Utilizing your advisor as much as possible because they may be able to provide different perspective and encourage you when challenges arise. Best practices for coaching your team. Once you have established how to be kind to yourself as a CEO, it's essential to establish this mindset within the company. It would be good to lead with the idea that it's okay to fail, but it's never okay not to try. Efforts is always rewarded even if the result didn't go as we intended. The value of learning from mistakes. An interesting thing happens when you allow mistakes to happen naturally. You actually learn more from the stuff that doesn't work than what does. It's why having post-mortem is critically important. Rather than just moving on from the situation, take inventory of what happened, see why it didn't work, and understand what could have been done differently to bring a different result. This too should be done with grace. Encourage teams to work collaboratively to gain insights rather than hold a session to repermit anyone's action. Whether you are in a line kitchen like the beer or have a less dramatic working environment, it always takes everyone's cooperation to come up with the right recipe for success. Two key takeaways from the article. One, you have to be conscious of doing out grace and empathy, and before you do with your team, it needs to start with doing the same for yourself. Two, choice and big decisions are necessary, and you're not always going to get it right. But it's not about avoiding the difficult moment, it's about how you handle them in the moment head on that will be the biggest differentiator in your success. If you have a mindset of these things happen and give grace to yourself and your team, it will better prepare you for your next strategic move. Start with positive self talk and positive behaviors. Positive self talk is a great first step and it can be nurtured by having a good sounding board that you go to for counsel and support. It would be good to lead with the idea that it's okay to fail, but it's never okay not to try. Effort is always rewarded even if the result didn't go as we intended. An interesting thing happens when you allow mistakes to happen naturally. You actually learn more from the stuff that doesn't work than what does. It's why having postmortem is critically important.